They say, oh, Europe is not paradise, oh, that's not heaven. But picture this. This is Europe. Sun, reflecting on the melanin. Clean streets, perfect coffee. What could you ask for? No, actually, that's not Europe. Can you imagine this? So this is me straight from Nairobi with my suitcase, landing in Europe, walking to the streets, on the streets like this movie star that I thought I was. And then I end up in a supermarket, holding like a few yogurts, trying to understand which one, what does it entail? Like, what is it? Trying to stay in the supermarket for more than an hour so that I don't end up picking up like animals, pets, or pets food, because I don't understand the language. Yeah, that's what Europe is. Well, my struggle started, I think, at the second week, I would say. No, second week was still, yeah, I think it started on the second week. So the bureaucracy, oh my God, I don't know even where to start. So Europe is not paradise. So let me start with the bureaucracy. And yeah, these are things I learned from as early as the second week. So I'm needed to go and register for resident permit. And my dad, being my dad, had laminated every document of me that he had. And yeah, for safety purpose, so that maybe if in case water drops on it or anything, for whatever reason best known to him, he laminated our passports. No, sorry, not our passport, our birth certificate and all other documents that he had. And I carried the documents here because they were needed. So I'm going to the office with appointment. That's the good thing. You don't have to wake up early so that you'll be on the first on the line. No, everything works digital. Everything is digitalized. You have to book an appointment online. Anything that you need to upload it online. And if they need a hard copy, then you have to present it with you. And that's what I did. So I arrived there and they're like, hey, madam, I don't know. They call me with my second name, of course. Could you help us with your passport and your birth certificate? I then handed to the person over, and he looks at my birth certificate, very well laminated, and is like, this is not allowed here. You have to provide us with a different birth certificate. And I'm like, I'm coming all the way from Kenya. I can't go back now. I just landed. I mean, I didn't tell him this, but I'm like, I just landed. Now you say this is not accepted here, but you can see, of course, the stamp is original. You can see everything. It's from Kenya. It was even legalized with the with the legalizing or whatever in Kenya. So it can be satisfied that it is the original document, and now you're telling me you can't accept it. I'm like, oh my God, where do I start? So I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to say, hey, look, this I know, this is how it works. No. I'm like, I'm gonna do it, and the problem starts. Remember, getting things in Kenya takes ages. But fast forward, the documents were delivered. I got them through DHL after I think 2 weeks of waiting, and I was able to deliver a new passport that is not laminated. After that, I started now, because I could be able to cycle, I started to try to move around with my bicycle, because it was in a small village where transport system was not that reliable. So I preferred my bike. I could be able to move from one point to the other. And the problem started whereby sometimes I stop and decide maybe to put my bike aside so that I admire the scenery, and someone just comes and talks in Dutch, something that I don't even understand. I'm like, oh my God, what? I wasn't able to understand. And because they cannot understand, some actually could speak English. They would realize, you are new here and whatever, and they switch easily in English. But some would be like, I can't speak English well, I'll just leave her alone and whatever. But in general, I think everybody that I happen to have met, even small kids, they were really so lovely. They were so nice. They could be able to say, at least even use communication, and you could see they show interest, because in the village that I was, I think, if I'm not wrong, I never saw any other black lady or any other black person. Maybe now there is, but that time I was the only one. So I was always, yeah, like I could always be seen as a center of attraction because it is not common, and that's the reality. Anyway, that never bothered me. I never even took that into consideration. It never bothered me actually at all. What actually bothered me was how it was difficult to, first of all, create interactions, and second of all, also to make contacts, like just to have that person that you could sometimes go for a coffee with, that person that you could just spontaneously visit. It was so hard until it got me to a point where I had to ask my host, I'm like, there are so many neighbors here and I rarely see you or also other neighbors talking to each other. What's going on? And then she's like, she didn't even see a problem. She's like, I know here everybody mind their own business. The only person I speak to is my neighbor here, and also it can take even weeks before we see each other. And I'm like, that's strange. But the fact that she doesn't find it strange, yeah, I decided to take it as it is, you know. But anyway, that aside, I still realized that there was a gap. There was everything is clean, everything is sparkling, but there is some atmosphere that I felt like it's missing. Because, you know, it's not like in Kenya where even if you go on a bus, randomly anybody will be speaking to you. They'll be like, hey, where are you going? Where are you coming from? And you start a conversation. In Netherlands, it was different. You go into a bus, get your position, head where you're going. In case you're asked for a payment, you pay, done. Like there's no any other second conversation, third conversation. There's no trigger. And also the fact that you don't speak the language, you can't also trigger. So it was just difficult. And I wouldn't say I was feeling lonely, but I think I was lonely. I think I was more excited than I was lonely. So I couldn't feel the loneliness because everything was exciting. Yeah, I think that's the easiest way to explain it. Secondly, of course, there's so many things to talk about, matters culture, but I'm not going to expound so much on that because everybody has some culture shock wherever they go. And yeah, but for me, I think what struck me was how hard it was to get an appointment to the doctor. Like, unless it's an emergency where you need to be rushed to the hospital, like emergency, you have to wait for the appointment regardless. Like if you're sick, you have to book an appointment, and when the appointment comes is when you're gonna be attended. That was for me shocking. I even asked myself, like, what if I'm dying? What's gonna happen? Like, you know. And also if you go to the hospital, it's not like in Kenya where they tend to have treatment for everything. So there it's basically you go and maybe you go there coughing, they're not gonna even advise you to take painkillers. They'll be like, try not to cough. In the beginning I had that and I was like, are they really crazy? Like they can't even tell you or write you something to take. They just tell you, try not to cough, drink water. Of course it's a virus, it's gonna end on its own. But yeah, to compare the life on both sides, you know, it's different. In Kenya, if you go, they will at least try to, they will try to give you something, you know, take this, take this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, that was also something that was quite strange to me. Another strange thing was, yeah, I think the language, everything needs the language. And it is not like English where you can just use one word, second word, even if they don't rhyme, you put it and you tell someone and they understand. No, it's different, totally different language. And I had to learn. Luckily, I was given the opportunity to attend language class, which my host family paid for. I think I attended it for 2 months or something, or 1 month, I can't remember. So I had to cycle after taking care of the child when they come back. I think it was once a week. I would take my bicycle, cycle to the class, and attend, was it 2 hours or 3 hours? Yeah, that was interesting. I think that's where I got to find, well, I didn't even make contacts there still because everybody seemed to be busy, either they were working, and I'm this, you know, au pair who doesn't have a lot to do. So people were not making contacts. People were finishing class, going back home because it's also cold. It was super cold. I remember one time my hands froze to death. That I fell from. I think that was the first time I fell from the bicycle. I couldn't continue cycling because my hands were frozen and I couldn't be able to grasp the handle, and I fell down. I had carried milk on my bike, and yeah, the milk busted, split. I was washed with the milk too at the same time, so I was milky. Yeah, other than that, I think it was a journey. There are moments that I could feel like actually Europe is paradise. Because if you look at the transport system, it is quite reliable. Like if it comes at 5, it comes at 5. If the bus says it comes at 6, it comes at 6. Like if it's late, it's gonna say. And usually it's not even more than 10 minutes. It would be like 2 minutes or 1 minute maximum. But it was always on time. People are so organized. If you go on the zebra crossing, you don't cross when it's red. And if it's green, also the cars don't ride over you. It's not like in Nairobi where whether it's green or red, you still debating, should I cross? Are you gonna cross on me? Or like it's a battle. No. Everything was so organized. The bicycle lanes, everybody has their own lane. Like if you are cycling, you have your own lane. If you are doing whatever, you have your own lane. Everything is so organized. I started to feel like actually I'm living in paradise. The way everything was so structured, the way every car looked clean. No, like the air, also the air that you breathe felt really good. No pollution. Like cars, there is a certain age of a car you need to drive, so it means the pollution is not much. Usually it's not like if you compare to back at home where anything falls on the road, and so long as it can move, so long as it has 3 to 4 wheels, it's allowed. I mean, maybe not allowed, but it will risk. Yeah, everything seemed perfect, but also at the same time not perfect. But I was not concentrating on the not perfect bit because I'm still excited. You know, hey girl, I'm in Europe. I need to live it. Whenever I was free, I was moving from city to city. I had paid for this train ticket, which allows you on the weekend to use any kind of train, regardless, any amount. You can just start from the North Pole of Netherlands to the South Pole of Netherlands, east to west, whatever. So I would actually spend my weekends in the train trying to see, hey, how does this place look like? How does this place look like? I've never been to this city. I was moving from everywhere. I think I've been everywhere in Netherlands. Maybe southwest not, but the majority of places I've been, thanks to this card that I was able to have. The only challenge I was having at that time was, money. Money was scarce. Money was scarce. I would see many nice things, many beautiful things, but I couldn't be able to afford because I'm not working. I'm just having pocket money, and that was kind of difficult to manage at the same time. Europe is not paradise. Is it not? I think it is. Speaking of dating, dating in Europe is like a sport. It's like a sport. You'll find every person there, any sort of person there, and they'll be looking for almost the same thing. And it could also be worse, more so if you look foreign. I don't know, because you look naive. I don't know, because you look different, so exotic things attract. I don't know, but dating could be difficult and also maybe exciting at the same time. So quite often, maybe in Kenya as well, but it was so often that in the dating sites, people would just be looking for fun, in quotes, and it is just normal. So you start writing someone and they're openly saying, can we meet up? Can we link up for this? And I'm like, boy, give me some respect. So on that perspective, depending on who's looking, who's whatever, it's good. Depending on who's being affected, it's not good. So it's not paradise. Europe looks good. on photos and also in reality, depending on where are you looking and what are you looking. So I remember, like I said before, the first few days when I arrived, I was walking. I was just sleeping because I had to sleep, but I was almost everywhere, trying to, grasp everything, try to see how everything is. The streets were really clean. The supermarkets also were really, really clean. Cars that were being driven, not old, like this. The air you breathe felt really also good. Pollution was quite minimal. Yeah, it was just amazing, to be in that spectrum, like to be caught in that sense of living. It's like being in suburbs in my country, for example, which I myself would never maybe be able to manage at that time. If at all I would have been left. But in Netherlands, I live it. So for me, it was actually a plus. And then there was the freedom. You kind of realize how much of freedom you have and you don't have. So, for example, you start to really quickly realize how the living costs are real. Like, not everyone earn actually as much as they put it online. You start to realize actually whatever people even earn here, whatever is considered so good, whatever people could be boasting about online, if you come here and convert it and be able to actually put it in perspective, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not something that can make you pay rent and live happily. So you will be paying bills after bills and after bills. And bills in Europe is reality. It is not something that you just push through the window and say, hey, look, I'll pay when I have to. No. It has deadline, and it has also interest or fines, something like this. So you have to pay it on time, and it comes. It never stops. And you will be followed because everybody has an address, remember. So they will follow you, they will track you, and you'll have to pay. I also started to realize actually there is a lot of opportunities. Like, this is paradise. I was seeing a lot of opportunities because after some time I started to interact with people, I started to inquire more, and I realized actually it's not like back at home where sometimes you might have the skills but you don't have the job and whatever. It was basically more of, do you know the language? And if you don't know the language, are you an expert in something? There was jobs were there. But the problem is, are you eligible to get it? Like, in the sense, not the skill sense, but in the sense that you need a permit. You need the reason why, like, because you are not born there, you don't have a residence permit. The employer basically needs to approve you and be able to get hold of you and explain why they prefer you and not any other candidate who has the citizen status or the resident status in that country. So you couldn't be even having skills, but you cannot continue or even start to work if the employer doesn't become like your sponsor in that perspective. So that's where the problem starts to kick in. You start to realize, oh, even if I'm this learned, I cannot be able to apply for a job and easily get it if this and this and this is not met. Because, yeah, that's how it works. So you start to realize how patience actually becomes your strength, or has to be your strength, because the bureaucracy, the relationships, it all takes time. Europe, everything all takes time. It's not a place where you land and say, tomorrow I'm doing it, I'm making it. No. You have to take the baby steps. You cannot run without taking the baby steps. And that's what Europe is. I don't know how life is in America. I don't know how life is in Asia, China, Europe, all those developed countries. But in Europe, life has to be done accordingly. Because if you skip some steps, sooner or later they'll catch up with you. Yeah. So I also kind of realized that homesickness starts to kick in slowly, but not sure. Like, it kicks in, and then at some point you realize, no, home I left to come and change my life and also be able to change life back at home, but I'm not in that category yet. So you kind of feel homesickness, but also at the same time you're like, no, I don't want to go back until I've ticked this box, and I've ticked this box. So you start to getting yourself in a position whereby you cannot, you are hold on here. You're not so much happy, but also you're not so much happy to move back, because whatever brought you here hasn't been successfully achieved or accomplished. So you slowly by slowly you start to journal your life. Slowly by slowly you start to walk, sit around the river alone. Slowly by slowly you start to enjoy your me time, your alone time, because that's the reality. You're not gonna sit at home alone. You're not gonna just say, I don't have friends, I can as well just stay at home. No, you're gonna start to push yourself outside. You're gonna start to be more outgoing. If you are this indoor person, you start gonna go out, because it's also cold, which tends to kind of drive you inside the house, and that's key to depression, key to unveiling things that shouldn't be unveiled, like childhood trauma and whatever. So the good thing, or the best way, is to move out. Like, try as much as possible to go out, explore, learn, relearn, open your mind, listen to that music, and because it's not home, different culture, different people. You have to find a way. You have to find a balance. Anyway, long story short, during my navigating period, I get to meet this lady called for the purpose of this video, I'll call her Maya. So I met Maya. Maya was also an au pair like me, navigating through life, trying to understand, come rain, what she's gonna be able to do in the next chapter, come sunshine, what she's gonna be able to grasp onto. So I meet her and I realize actually she has planned her life accordingly. Like, her life is like, step, she knows if this doesn't work, this works, if this works. And she starts to tell me how she's been living, how she's been spending, how she's been saving. And I'm like, oh, your life seems to be really together. So Maya starts to show me the way. I start to ask Maya, so how long have you been here? And she's just been there like slightly a few months after me, but really been doing well. Like, she seems to have an organized life. Maya, by the way, comes from Asia. So I will say she comes from Philippines for this purpose. And she explains to me how her life in Europe has been, how she has been in many dates, how she has been in many cities, how she has tried all whatever, how she has been saving. I get curious and I'm like, we don't earn much. Actually, we just have pocket money, which actually on my end, I feel like I spend it all. So how do you even get to spend and be able to save? So Maya really, I will explain more about Maya through my journey in Europe and in the next couple of videos, but Maya really showed me the world.